Right? Well, if you are, one, not feeling very much into the new year, new me right now, you're not alone. It's weird to have New Year's in the middle of winter in the Northern Hemisphere because winter is a season of death, of quietness, of introspection, of rest, and that does not align with setting New Year's goals and really going after it. That's more springtime. So if you are someone that is struggling with that, no worries. However, what I talk about today will really help you wherever you're at on the spectrum, whether you are like, I don't really know, I've tried this before, it hasn't really worked out, or you're like, oh, I'm going balls to the wall, like I'm totally ready to nail my New Year's goals and this is going to be my year, right? So it doesn't matter which end of the spectrum you're on. Hopefully what I talk about today will really help you and serve you in making it so you accomplish your New Year's goals, and not just your New Year's goals, but any goal that you want to achieve, and not just goals, but desires as well, because ultimately it doesn't matter if it's a goal that we have specific metrics that we're measuring for our success, or if it's a desire that we want to manifest in our life, then it's all the same. Why? Because it's all energy. And if it's all energy, then there are simple, do I want to say protocols? Simple protocols that we can all follow, and to use energy to manipulate the goal and the desire that we want to bring into our life, to make it a lot easier on us, so it doesn't feel like we're pulling teeth throughout our journey to achieving our goal. So let me see how I wanted to start this. So I know that a lot of people have goals around body, relationships, and business. These are the three big areas. So with body, it's typically, this is going to be the year that I get my health back. This is going to be the year that I lose the weight. This is going to be the year that I commit to my fitness, that I eat healthy. And this is going to be the year that I feel really confident and with my body, that my relationship with my body is the best it's ever been. And then for relationships, it's typically goals like, this will be the year that I meet the one, or this will be the year that I have a great community that I'm surrounded with. This will be the year that I reconcile my relationships with family or loved ones or friends that I've lost touch with, or whatever it is. And then for business or money or financial goals, it's typically like, this will be the year that I make X amount of dollars. This will be the year that my business or my work, like my business does really great, or I get a promotion with work, whatever it might be. So whatever your goal is, it doesn't matter if it's body, relationships, or business, or work, or income. Just know that these principles apply across the board. So if I say something and I'm relating it to body, it can easily be related to relationships, to income, to business. Okay, why? Because everything is energy, and you are the center of the energetic bubble that is your world. And so your energy then is projected out to your reality, and therefore everything is brought back to you through the lens of your overall energetic vibration. All right, so what happens when we typically work towards our goals? We either goes ball to the wall for a few days or a couple weeks, and then we burn out. Maybe we don't achieve results as quickly as we desire, or the thing that we want doesn't show up instantly, and we're like, what the heck? I want this thing. I've been doing what I'm supposed to be doing for it, and it's not here, or it's not here quick enough. And that can be very disheartening, and it can be very frustrating. And what you're doing is you're taking a very masculine approach to your goals. You are working towards your goals in a way that it's a lot of doing a lot of action taking, but what a lot of people don't consider is that there's also a feminine energetic approach, which is the being. Who are you being while you take the action? What energy are you embodying while you take the action? And this is just as important, if not more important, than the actual action that you are taking. So through this call today, you're going to learn how to balance them so that you can achieve your goals the way that you want to, that you can achieve your goals in a way that it feels balanced and that you feel really good about it, and you're not burning yourself out and you're not feeling frustrated and you're not just like, what the heck, when is this going to show up? Okay. So the energy of approaching goals matters more so than the actual goal. Why? Because we want the goal in the first place so we feel a certain way. Okay. So remember that. Why do you want your goal? Right? Why do you want your goal? You want it so that you feel a certain way. You think if you make more money, you're going to feel more secure. You think that if you're in that relationship, you're going to feel more love. You think that if you have the body that you want, you're going to feel more confident, feel more strong. So we want something because we think on the other side of that thing, the having of it, we will feel a certain way. Okay? So what happens is we don't give ourselves permission to feel that way until we've reached our goal. And that's where we mess up. So this is a first simple shift that you can make. You can practice feeling the feelings while you are achieving your goal. What do I mean by this? So I'll go through and I'll give a couple examples. So if you are someone who has body goals, and you want to lose, we'll just say you want to lose 10 pounds. All right. You want to lose 10 pounds of fat, and, you have a specific date set in mind. Like maybe you want to lose 10 pounds of fat by the end of this month of January. So it's January 31st. You step on the scale and you've only lost 6 pounds of fat. Now, would you be mad that you've only lost 6 pounds? Or would you celebrate the fact that you are 6 pounds lighter than you were 3 weeks ago? Right? So it's a fact of shifting that perspective. So the simple shift is shifting your perspective towards your goals. So you lost 6 pounds, so celebrate that. Celebrate that you lost a couple of pounds. Celebrate that you're that much closer to your goal. Celebrate that whatever you're doing is working. Right? It might not be working on the timeline that you've dictated for it, but it's still working. And just like with dating, if you go on a date and you say, okay, this is going to be the year that I find my person, and you go on a date or two and then things fizzle out, or you're just meeting like people that you would consider like a fuck boy or a fuck girl, and you're just like, okay, this is stupid. I don't want to do this anymore. What are you doing? You're shutting yourself off from receiving what it is that you want. You're shutting yourself off from receiving your person. You're shutting yourself off from opening your heart so that the person that you are going to be with can feel you first. And so would you go on a couple dates and be like, okay, screw this, I'm done? Or would you go on a couple dates and be like, okay, I have more clarity around what I don't want. So therefore I have more clarity around what I do want. So it's all about shifting your perspective. So shifting the energy that you are embodying as you are approaching your goal. So when you get to the gym, do you feel like, oh, like, screw this, I have to do this, I have to go, I don't want to be here, I'm over this? Or are you like, wow, I'm so excited, like, I'm going to feel so confident by the end of this workout, I'm going to feel so strong while I'm doing this, I'm going to look at myself and see the changes that my body are taking. So it's all a perspective shift, and this matters so much because the lens that you are looking at your goal through is the energy that you're embodying, is the signal that you're sending to your cells. So your cells are literally responding to you saying, okay, yes, or okay, no. So, okay, yes, you really enjoy this. Let's do more of this. I'm going to respond to this. Or if you're like, I hate this, I don't want to do this anymore, then your body's like, okay, no, then we're not going to do it. And you're going to find yourself in a predicament if you are constantly belittling yourself or being critical about yourself or being critical towards your goals. You're going to find yourself in a predicament where it feels very hard to achieve them and it feels very difficult to get there. So with finances and business, if you only made a certain amount of money, are you focused on the money that you haven't made yet and you're frustrated because you haven't made that yet? Or are you focused on the money that you did make and that it's more than you had before? So there's always there's always infinite sides to a coin. So which side are you choosing to view this situation through, right? So that's the first shift that you can make. And then the second shift that you can make is to see that the energy that you are embodying dictates the action that you take. Okay. So as some people here, we hear the saying of your emotions dictate the manifestation, right? So you have to be positive if you want this manifestation. You have to be positive if you want this thing to happen. That's not the truth. You don't have to be positive all the time, especially if your natural state in that moment isn't positivity. It's actually counterproductive to force yourself to be positive. The ultimate truth is that the highest vibrating frequency that we could possibly attune to or embody is unconditional love. So can we accept ourselves in whichever form we are in that moment, whether we're sad, angry, depressed, tired, excited, energized, whatever it is, can we accept ourselves in that moment, thus loving ourselves unconditionally, thus taking action through that lens? Because if we are upset or we're angry and we're just like, okay, fuck this, I'm not doing this anymore, that's how we self-sabotage. We self-sabotage when we take action through the undesired emotion, not when we just feel the undesired emotion. So I'll go into this. So what it means when we take action through the undesired emotion, this means that if you are angry that you only lost 6 pounds instead of 10, if you are angry that you went on 2 or 3 dates and you ended up wasting your time because that person wasn't the one, instead of seeing it as gaining more clarity for the one that you actually want and then what you don't want, if you are angry that you only made a certain amount of money this year or last year, instead of being grateful for the money that you did make, if you are angry, then you are going to take action through the energy of that anger. That leads to sabotaging yourself. Because what do we do when we're angry? We typically say, fuck this, I'm out. Or hey Tammy. Or we typically say, I'm not doing this anymore. I don't even want this. What am I even doing? I'm wasting my time. And we allow that lower self to take over. We allow that lower self to run the show. And that's where sabotage comes in. If we're not, if we aren't acting through the lens of anger, then we're not going to sabotage ourselves. If we're not acting through the lens of procrastination or depression, we're not going to sabotage ourselves. So how do we get out of acting from that emotion? Because remember, it's not the emotion that causes your manifestation not to happen. It's the action you take while you're embodying that emotion that causes your manifestation not to happen. So what do we want to do? We want to first recognize how we're feeling. I'm feeling angry. I'm feeling depressed. I'm feeling overwhelmed. I'm feeling like I have paralysis from overanalysis, right? Because I'm feeling like I have to be perfect. So how am I feeling right now? And then as you're feeling that, all you have to do is accept it. All you have to do is accept it, because remember, the highest frequency of all is unconditional love. So all you have to do is accept that you're feeling that way. Okay, I'm angry. Now, instead of me going and taking action from this anger because I'm not reaching my goal, because I've gone on a couple dates and it's not working out, because I'm not making my monthly income goals like I thought that I wanted to. Instead of getting angry or getting overwhelmed and sitting in that energy, what you can do is accept that you are in that energy. Accept the part of you that feels this way, because it's not all of you that feels this way. If it was all of you that felt this way, you wouldn't be aware that you felt this way, because you would be so immersed in the feeling. Does that make sense? So it's not all of you that feels this way. It's a part of you that feels this way. And that part of you that feels this way, all it needs, think of this. When a child is upset, what does it need? A hug, love, to know that it's okay, to know that it's safe. Right? So what do you need? A hug, love, to know that it's okay to feel this way, to know that you're safe. So that's what you can give yourself. And it's through shifting So this is the second simple shift. If you came on late, I highly recommend you go back after this video ends and watch the first one. But so it's through shifting this simple shift from acting through the lens of anger, overwhelm, stress, anxiety, depression, whatever it might be. You don't want to act when you're in that space. Instead, you just want to allow yourself to be in that space. Tell yourself, I'm safe here. The part of me that's experiencing this, it's okay that you're experiencing this. It's okay that you're here. It's okay that you're feeling this way. I understand. I'm here for you. And this is called shadow integration. We're not going to go into this on this call, but this is called shadow integration. We are integrating the part of you that feels like an outcast and is acting out because it's not getting what it wants. And when you integrate it into the whole of you, it feels safe because it's coming home. You're coming home to yourself. You're no longer abandoning this part of you. And through this process, then there's no need to rush and take action. Instead, we can sit with this part of ourselves, and if we're feeling sad, go watch a movie and cry your eyes out. If you're feeling mad, go to the gym and get in a good workout, or get to a punching bag and punch a pillow, or grab a pillow and have a pillow fight with your mattress. Scream into the pillow. If you're feeling just defeated or overwhelmed, take a bath, go for a walk, but don't do anything that pertains to achieving your goal, because that is when we self-sabotage. Like, for an example, if we're someone who, I know that this very well because I struggled with binge eating and bulimia for about 8 years. And so when I would get stressed or overwhelmed or just feel very anxious about whatever was going on in my life at that time, I would turn to food because I would say, fuck this. I'm never going to have the body that I want anyways. So screw this. I'm just going to eat until I want to throw up. And so I would eat. But so instead of doing that, instead of punishing my body, the thing that I was working towards, all I needed to do, which I eventually learned and practiced and implemented, was to take a deep breath, get out of the kitchen, get away from whatever your trigger is. So if it's a relationship that you want, get off the dating app. When you're in a state like this, if it's the body that you want, get away from the kitchen. If it's the money that you want, put your phone and your computer down. You're not spending money on anything right now to invest in anything because you think that you're not good enough as you are. But you're going to walk away from whatever that trigger is, and you're just going to have a conversation with yourself. And you're going to remind yourself that it's safe that you feel the way that you feel, and that it's okay that you're feeling that way. And whatever you need to do, and then ask that part of yourself, what do you need to feel better right now? You're going to get an answer. And this also develops self-trust. The more we trust ourselves, the more we can move forward in energetic alignment of our true self, which is how we achieve these goals and these desires easily anyways. And again, getting into this energy, that's that feminine energetic part of it that I talked about with the first shift. So taking the action, that's the masculine energy. And if we're constantly taking action without aligning our energy first, then we're going to find ourselves burnt out. And we're going to find ourselves saying, screw this, I don't want this anyways. Yes, you do. It's that lower self that's talking, that's saying that, because you're burning yourself out and you're not bringing in the feminine energetics. We all have masculine and feminine energy, regardless if you're male-bodied or female-bodied. And so when we bring in both of them and we keep them in a balance, that's when we can move forward with more ease, okay? So permission slip to not sabotage your goals when you're feeling when you're in your feels, right? Instead, take a step back, reassess the situation, communicate to the part of you that's having a hard time, and don't do anything. You don't need to act. In the scheme of things, if it's one day that you're out of commission, that's not a big deal. Because if that one day that you're out of commission, if you just tend to your needs and you just allow the part of you that's having a rough time, the time and space that it needs to feel safe and to feel heard and to express itself, and then you wake up the next day and you're like, holy shit, I feel like a totally new person. That's when you start taking action. Versus we try to push through and we're like, oh, I'm not having a very good week. How many of us have said that? I'm just not having a very good week. Well, then stop taking action, because you are infusing that energy into every single thing that you do. And if you're not getting the immediate return, then the outcome is just going to be delayed. So if you're infusing the energy of anger and anxiety into every action that you do for a whole week, then the outcomes that you are going to get back, whether immediate or delayed, are going to cause more anger and anxiety, because that's the energy you're putting out. It's what you're going to get back. It's a universal law, just like gravity. It's going to happen. So if we can just tell ourselves, it's okay if I don't act right now. And then we just get back to at least the neutral state, meaning we're okay with the present moment. We're good. We know we're taken care of. We know we're going to reach our goals eventually. We know that we're going to have whatever it is that we want eventually. It's going to come. It's just not here yet. And that the most important thing is to take care of ourselves. Then we can move forward with the energy of neutrality or acceptance or satisfaction or gratitude or love. And then we're going to receive more of that back, right? Whether immediately or delayed. So that's the second shift that you can make if you find yourself getting frustrated with your goals. If you find yourself getting frustrated with whatever it is that you're manifesting in your life this year. The first one was balancing your feminine and masculine energy and shifting your perspective, shifting the lens that you're seeing yourself taking action towards these goals through. The second one was not taking action when you're in a specific energy and intent, and instead tending to that part of you that needs you so that you can move forward in a greater state of wholeness. Okay. And then the third one is a very, very simple shift, but it's one that so many of us overlook because we feel cocky if we do this, or we feel silly if we do this and then things don't pan out the way that we wanted them to, or we feel embarrassed if we do this and then something happens that's less than ideal. And all of this is ultimately a fear of disappointment. Okay? So if we didn't fear disappointment, if you didn't fear disappointment, if you didn't fear that you'd be embarrassed, if you didn't fear that you would be seen as cocky or be seen as arrogant, would you celebrate yourself? That's the third one. Celebrate the small things. Celebrate yourself. Share it with as many people as you can, because the more people you get on board that are backing you, the stronger the energy is going towards you and your goals. This is why community is so important, because when we share, when we're working towards a common goal with other people, then that energy is amplified. This is why people come together in ceremony and rituals, because the energy is amplified. It's why we all celebrate holidays on the same day. The energy is amplified. You can just feel something in the air around Christmas time, right? The energy is amplified. So when you can celebrate the small things, so going back to that body example, if you want to lose 10 pounds, celebrate when you lose half a pound. Celebrate when you lose 1 pound. Celebrate when you lose 3 pounds. Celebrate when you choose to drink water instead of Coke. Celebrate when you choose to put extra protein on your plate instead of eating dessert right away. Celebrate when you choose to check in with your body before you go up for seconds. If it's your relationship life that you're wanting to improve this year, celebrate that you went on a date. Celebrate that you got more clarity about what it is that you desire in a partner. Celebrate that you got more clarity about how you show up in a potential new partnership. Celebrate that you're putting yourself out there. Celebrate that you're keeping your heart open. Celebrate that you're setting boundaries. If it's your finances that you want to improve this year, celebrate when you make money, even if it's finding a penny on the sidewalk. Money is money is money is money is money to the universe. There is nothing that is insignificant to the universe. We create significance and insignificance through the meaning that we give things. In the lens of the universe, in the eyes of the universe, which universe can be used as God, higher power, whatever you resonate with, there is nothing too insignificant or significant. It all matters. So celebrate. Until you can celebrate the small things, you're not going to be able to celebrate the big things, because those big things are going to come and you're going to be like, what's next? What's next? Oh, got this. What's next? Because how do I know? Because I was there. I was always an overachiever in school. I graduated top I think I was 4th in my class. I was in all the different clubs. I was an athlete. I had scholars, athletes. I got some scholarships for my grades. I was always accomplishing things. And it was never enough because it was just expected. So then it's like, what's next? What's next? And now in my adult life, I found that my biggest challenge is celebrating the small things. And so we have to learn to celebrate the small things so that, if anything, we bring in more energy of celebration into our life. That which we focus on grows. Where we place our intention, we are sending energy. And if we're always placing our intention on not good enough, not worthy enough, need to do more, guess what we're going to find more of in our life? Reasons to not feel good enough, reasons to not feel worthy enough, things that we need to do more of. But if we can find ourselves celebrating the small things, celebrating the choice you made, celebrating that you went for that walk, celebrating that you got to the gym, even if it's just you walked in and then you're like, oh, I can't be here, and you left, you got there. Celebrating that you parked further away so that you could get some extra steps in. Celebrating that you even put yourself out there to date. Celebrating that you even took the risk to start your own business. That you bet on you. Celebrating the first dollar that you make in your name. Celebrating the promotion that you have, or even being considered for a promotion. There's always something to celebrate. And if you're having a hard time finding things to celebrate in your life, then look around you. Celebrate the seasons. Celebrate the sun. Celebrate that your body has millions and millions of functions every second that you don't have to think about. There's always something to celebrate. And when we practice, because this is a practice, focusing on that, we bring in more reasons to celebrate into our life. Okay? It just has to happen. It's a universal law. Okay? And then the next shift that I would invite you to make, so this is the 4th shift, simple shift for your New Year's goals, manifestations, whatever it is that you want to create in your life, is remembering that you are good enough as is. That if you're watching this from a phone, from a computer, you probably have your basic needs met. You're already more wealthy than about 80% of the world. And you are good. You are good. You might not be where you want to be, but you're good. You have your basic needs met. You have water that you can drink. You have clean clothes that you can put on. You have a bed that you can sleep in at night. That's not on the floor. Or maybe your mattress is if you like to sleep on the floor. I know I used to be like that. So, you have to remember that you are a whole being as you are. You are a direct reflection of divine intelligence. You are God incarnated in human form. We all are. Okay? We are an extension of the higher power. We are not separate from it. We are an extension of it. And the higher power that created everything in this earth, everything in the world, everything in the multiverse, do you think that higher power wonders if it's good enough? No. It knows it's whole. It knows it's complete. So you have to see your goals as not something that is filling a void within you, but something that is complementing an already enjoyable life. Again, if you are having a hard time finding things that you enjoy in your life, look harder. There's always something to enjoy. You've just conditioned yourself to believe there's not. Especially if you live close to nature. Nature's natural state is abundance. So look to nature. If you're having a hard time feeling grateful for your eyesight, for your voice, for your heartbeat, for your neural connections, for your digestive system. And so just remember that your goal is not filling a void. It is complementing your already good enough life. We only don't feel good enough when we start comparing ourselves. And comparing is a form of scarcity that we believe the fallacy of when our ego is trying to keep us safe or our shadow self is trying to hold us back from moving into the unknown because it feels scared. Okay? So, when we can recognize that comparison is a form of scarcity, we're all guilty of it. I get it. Then we can pull ourselves out of it. We can remember everything that we have in our life that makes us enough, that makes us worthy, that makes us perfect who we are, just as we are. And we can stop seeing our goal as that thing that's going to complete us, because it's not. It's not going to complete you, because how many times have you had a goal before that you thought, when I get there, everything's going to be different. I'm going to feel so amazing. I'm going to feel confident. I'm going to stop doubting myself. I'm going to wear that thing that I've wanted to wear. I'm going to go approach that person, only to get there and you're still doubting yourself. You're still wanting more. You're still hiding. You're still not wearing that thing because, oh, maybe I'll just lose a few more pounds. If we see our goals as void, as filling a void within us, we will always continue to seek to fill that void. Because only you can fill the void that's within you. It will continue to persist until you shift internally what nothing externally can shift for you. And that is your relationship with yourself. That is how you feel about yourself, the thoughts you think about yourself, your connection with your higher power, your ability to accept and understand these parts of you that maybe feel a little scared, that get triggered, and to bring them back into wholeness. The void you feel is because you're abandoning yourself in one way or another. And that void will never be fulfilled by anything outside of you, because that feeling of abandonment is coming from within. Hello, sis. And so you have to be able to recognize that. And chances are we're abandoning the parts of us that want to be heard, to be seen, while we're chasing these goals. So that's the conundrum there, is we go for these goals thinking that we're finally going to feel this way, when if we just recognized that it's in fact the chasing of these goals that it's causing us to abandon this part of us that would give us this feeling that we're seeking in the first place, then the goals would just be like, oh, cool. That's going to bring a lot of extra joy to my life, but wow, I feel so good already. I couldn't imagine anything else making me feel better than how I feel right now, because I'm so connected to myself. I trust my body. I'm intuitively connected with my spirit. I know that I have a connection to a higher power. I know that I'm not doing this alone. I know my guides and my team are working with me. I know that I receive signs from the universe all of the time, and that we have a streamline of communication going on. I know that I'm always being redirected back on my highest path. I know that things are working out in divine timing. I know that if I want something and it doesn't work out, I'm just being divinely redirected to something better for me. When we know these very simple truths, simple but not easy to embody because we've been conditioned otherwise, but when we know them, and when we believe them, that's when our goals start happening, because we are no longer forcing something to happen out of the energy of not good enough, which takes me back to point 1. Out of the energy of, I need this to complete me. Think about it. If you dated someone and they needed you to complete them, and they were texting you continuously, like, hey, I haven't heard from you in a couple hours. Everything okay? I thought that we were doing good. Like, I thought that things were going to be, I thought things were really evolving with us. And you're like, okay, whoa, like, we've been on one date. We've talked for a week and a half. What is this person saying? You probably block them, right? As they continuously text you over and over again, because they need you to fill the void that they're feeling within them. That's how the universe feels, in an extreme example, when we need it to provide something to us for us to feel complete. You don't need anything. Do you get to have whatever you want? Yes. Will some of us cockblock ourselves from having whatever we want? Yes. But can we get around that to where we start allowing ourselves to have whatever we want? Yes. And it starts with remembering that there is no void that anything outside of you can fill, only you can. And that begins with getting to know yourself. That begins with self-awareness. That begins with slowing down and connecting to your body, connecting to your intuition. And then from a space of feeling whole, from a space of feeling like, wow, I enjoy my life so much already, but what else could I bring into my life to just continue to contribute to this enjoyment that I could find myself celebrating? That's when we take action towards our goals, when we are in that energy, when we recognize that there's no void here other than one we've created. Or I say we created, but it could be something that we created via conditioning. So it's technically not our fault, but we've been conditioned to believe that we are less than, we are not good enough until we have X, Y, and Z. But you have to recognize it's all conditioning bullshit. And we're all in this together, right? We're all in this together. But in order for this to really be your best year yet, I think this is the fourth point that I've made. Out of all of these points, it's really like, can you just believe that you're good enough? Can you come home and not feel like that goal that you want is going to complete you, is going to fulfill a void? Because it's not. So if it's the body that you want, how is that body going to make you feel? Go do something right now that helps you embody confidence and do it every day until that confidence becomes part of who you are. And then your body will come. I promise you, I did this. I lost 30 pounds in like 2 months without dieting, without crazy workout plans, without anything. My sister says you literally meditated the weight off of you. And all I did was come home to myself. If it's the relationship that you want, stop thinking every person is going to be that last piece to your puzzle. The puzzle's already complete. They're not going to add anything into your life that you aren't already capable of receiving. They will complement you and they will be able to help you go deeper on your journey, but they are not completing you. And when I recognized this with Zach, that's when we did not start out like it was going to be all roses and dandelions. It did not look like we would even be a couple when we first started dating. And we didn't officially become a couple until almost like 4 or 5 months after our first date. And it was because I had to heal my anxious attachment. I had to heal the anxiety I had around a relationship fulfilling me. And what did I do? I went and I lived my life. I did exactly what I wanted to do. I started dating my life. I did things that I really enjoyed with my sister. I did things that I enjoyed by myself. I traveled to different places. I did all of these things that I enjoyed just because, and I thought while I was doing them, this is going to be awesome when I have a partner to do this with one day. Versus what I was doing, which was like, I can't go anywhere until I have a partner to travel with. I just really want someone to go somewhere with. So I get it. I've been there. And then with money and with business, I thought that starting my business was going to fill a void that I felt when I was working my 9 to 5. And it didn't. If anything, it opened up all of the shadows that I was operating in, and it took me on the deepest healing trip of my life. And I'm still going through that. I'm still evolving and learning and growing. And I remember thinking, once I get to this income goal, everything's going to be so awesome. Everything's going to feel so good. I'm going to be so confident. I'm going to believe in myself. I surpassed that income goal years ago, and I still struggled with confidence. I still struggled with self-belief. I still struggle with self-doubt. Because it's human to do so, but those don't have to identify us, just like our goals don't have to complete us. Okay, so just remember that. It's not a void. There's no void that can be fulfilled externally. You do the work internally Okay, I'm going to read these comments. Let me know if you guys have any questions. Wow, I tuned in perfectly. You're speaking to me, but I definitely feel like I've finally gotten over the hump of feeling more fulfilled without always having a goal. After February, I'm tired of setting these crazy goals for myself. I feel fulfilled without the crazy goals. Yeah, and that's another thing. Some of us, we think that we need to be working towards something to feel like relevant, to feel like we're doing something with our lives. Can you feel good enough and can you feel excited about your life just being, just chilling, not having to do something crazy or extravagant, not needing something that you have to be pushing yourself towards to fill that? It's almost like it's an addiction getting met. Can you instead retrain yourself to be like, how calm can I be? How peaceful can I be? How slow can I move so that I can connect back to my body and the natural world around me? Because I assure you, if you are always doing things thinking that you have to take action without considering the energy that you're embodying or the energy that you are bringing into your field first, you're not going to move as fast as you think you're going to. Energy shifts mountains. Energy moves things. Matter is less than 1% of the world. Energy moves things. When we shift energetically, the universe shifts with us. And so when we shift energetically, if you have the universe on your side shifting with you, we live in a yes universe. We shift energetically, the universe said yes, yes, yes. We feel a certain way, we take action through that, the universe says yes, yes, yes. It's all responding to us. And so when we shift, the universe shifts with us. And then that's when quantum leaps happen, synchronicities start dropping out of the sky. And we start feeling like, wow, like I have the golden touch. You do, because you're meant to. I mean, we're all meant to, but we also all set ourselves up for lessons to learn throughout our time here on Earth so that we can evolve to become the highest expression of ourselves on Earth. And when I say heal and evolve and highest expression, I simply mean wholeness. You come back to wholeness with yourself. So if anything, make that your focus this year. And yeah, so those are the 4 shifts that I wanted to discuss, just simple shifts to help you make this the best year yet. So if you enjoyed this, feel free to share it. If you came on late, I highly recommend going back and watching the first point. If you would like a 2023 best year yet energy forecast, then you can DM me. I don't have any more availability this week, but I will continue to be doing them through next week, and then they are no longer going to be offered after the 14th. So if you would like one of those, please DM me and we can get that scheduled for you. And basically that is an energetic outlook for your entire year of 2023, what you're being asked to focus on, the theme of the year and each month, what obstacles may come up for you, what lessons you're being asked to learn, and how you're being asked to evolve into your best and highest good. So if that's something that you're interested in, please let me know. And I hope that this was valuable for you. Take notes, apply this to your everyday. I guarantee that you will see shifts. Happy New Year.